Hey everyone, welcome to the Otherz podcast. I am your host, Stephen Penny. It's been a while, it's been far too long, but we are back. And joining me this week, back for maybe the third time.
Yeah, I think so.
It is Mr. StarTrakWorld, aka Anthony. How you doing, man?
What's going on, mister?
All good here, all good. I have to say up front, I apologise to anyone listening about the sound, potentially. We've had, it's a combination of possible technical issues, which we've been trying to sort out for the last 50 minutes. Mm-hmm. Plus, I've moved house, and I am in some cavernous, huge office/studio.
He's being modest. He's in a mansion, therefore the echoes are immense. That's he's being modest.
The echoes are bouncing from wing to wing.
Right. What up, Steve?
Yeah, we're all good here. We're all good. Trying to get through winter, trying to survive in this cold-ass weather. But
Did you hear about Michigan? Man,
what happened in Michigan?
Where I'm at, man, it was negative 13.
Is this Celsius, normal Celsius, or is this weird American
This
Fahrenheit,
is weird
which
American.
I don't understand?
Yeah, this is weird American. Just know that it was so cold that my leather seats froze, and if you were to take a cup of hot water and put it outside, take a cup of hot water and throw it into the air, it will turn into snow before it hits the ground.
I've seen those videos on Instagram and stuff.
Yeah, it's real life.
Yeah.
But
it hasn't got quite that cold here, but I think we average out like during the winter. So at the moment, the last couple of days, it's actually gone up to about 0 degrees Celsius. So that's the freezing point
and this is
for normal people. But normally we're around, for the last few weeks, we've had non-stop snow for 2 weeks, and we're hovering around minus 20 Celsius.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, last thing about the weather I'll say is we did have a day where it was 13 degrees, which is very cold. And then within like 4 hours, it was almost 55 degrees, which is like literally almost like changing seasons in one day. It was bizarre, but
that's messing with your head.
Yeah, but enough about the weather. We do got something else hot to talk about, which is, Steve, I'll let you take it away.
I thought this was our new weather podcast for 2019.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We might as well start it with the weather, bro.
Do you know any weather podcasts? I think this could be a niche that we could expand into.
The weather / Billionaire Boys Club Star Trek podcast. Because everyone needs their updates on the weather around the world. I mean, it's important.
Look, there's some like crazy shit going on around the world at the moment. You got like plus 40 degrees in Australia and minus whatever random number you make up in America, and all the in-betweens. So people need their updates. We need to know what's going on in the world.
As you guys can tell, it's been 3 months, so we don't even really know how to attack this.
We really, really don't.
But
I'm struggling.
Getting us back on task. We are going to be talking about Mr. Me Too. I'm super excited.
We've got, Mr. Me Too. I've held on to this one for a while because I know you wanted to talk about this one. This one is, to me, this is weird because I was listening back to it earlier, and it's a very underrated song, I feel. But it's very underrated by me. Okay. It's a song that I will skip over quite a lot and not listen to because I think, not a big fan. But then when I do listen to it, when I do sit down and watch the video or just have it on in the background, I'm like, this beat is hard.
It's so good.
This is a great track.
It's so good.
Yeah, so I'm guilty of being one of those that doesn't rate it highly enough at the appropriate times anyway.
Yeah, this song sits highly on my greatest Neptunes produced tracks of all time, personally. This was definitely in my... I can never say things like top 5 and top 10 because there's just too many, but definitely in my top 20. Definitely in my top 20.
High praise.
Yes. Yes, because before you get into all the chart topping, information that Steve only does so well. Me personally, this beat, when I first heard it, it I've never heard, like, it was kind of like the Grindin' effect. When I heard Grindin', I'd never heard anything like it before. It was also kind of like the what's that song with Birdman? Wow, people are gonna kill me. What happened to that? Yeah, when I first heard that song, I never heard a beat like that before. But this beat to me sounds like a digital wave of just like constant. It's like a synth wave of just craziness. Like it's so, that constant humming, almost like an electrical like hum in the background, is just like so infectious, and just I love everything about it. But I'm gonna wait till we get to the production part, because I can nerd on about this beat for hours and hours.
Don't worry, we're nearly there. There's not an awful lot to say about it. This track was released on the 23rd of May 2006. It was the first single from the Clipse's second album, Hell Have No Fury.
Classic.
They knew it. You know, I dug out some interviews earlier. They knew this wasn't going to chart very well, wasn't going to sell very well, just because of that strange sound to it. So it peaked at number 65 on the US Hot R&B and Hip Hop Songs Billboard chart. So not even the main Billboard chart. This is that, you know, little subgenre of R&B and hip hop, and only getting 65 there, which I thought we would have got higher in that kind of chart. But
yeah,
obviously they could foresee this. I read some interviews earlier with Pusha, and I think there were some quotes from Malice in there as well. Yeah, how they just wanted to get the album done, get it out after all their kind of issues with Jive, which they touch upon in the track as well and in the video. And they knew this was kind of a bit out there and a bit different, and just wanted it out. They wanted to go with something that was different, that wasn't kind of poppy or commercial, or wouldn't necessarily sell well or do well on the radio. They just wanted a hard song to go out there with, and they certainly accomplished that. Facts.
Yes, they did. I was actually talking with another one of the Otherz, man, about this song, because I had told him that this was in the works, this podcast, and he was talking about on BET here. This song was debuting on BET, and he remembers like recording like the TV, like recording that episode, and you know, I think at the time it might have been AJ. I forgot who was hosting it then, but they were like, you know, new Clipse song, Mr. Me Too featuring Pharrell, and he just like lost it, sat and watched the video. You know, the Others, when new videos were dropping, whether it was Pharrell, Clipse, whatever, like it was like when our parents, or even some of us who are, you know, a little older, would remember when Michael Jackson would debut videos. Like it was an event. Like I remember seeing this video and just like staring at it, like marveling at it. And like, again, it kind of had this similar effect of how Can I Have It Like That did for me. Because it was just like, some of it was just like Pharrell's level of swagger in this video is just unmatched. Like,
this is 06, super braggy, gangster hip hop Pharrell. This is him going really hard with that whole kind of persona, even down to the wardrobe in the video, where it's just the kind of wife beater vest, the bandana over the face, the crazy gaudy chains. He's got the two N.E.R.D ones there, and what's the other one? The BBC astronaut head as well. Just obscene jewelry, obscene.
I gotta say, my favorite scene in music video, in almost all music video history, is at 2 minutes. If you're watching this on YouTube and you watch that video, if you pause at exactly 2 minutes, when Pharrell holds those chains in the air into the camera and is just looking like dead in the camera, like, I'm the flyest. Like, no one, like, and then you just see Clipse and Malice in the background just like, I co-sign this. Like, and you notice they're not really dripping. Like, they're not all, it's Pharrell who's like front and center. Like, this is my squad. This is Star Trek. I'm the general of this. And it's just like, you can't see us. Like, you just can't. And this is when Pharrell was like, he kind of reminded me of like Diddy in, you know, when Diddy was bigging up Biggie and he was just like, you know, this is Bad Boy, we're the hottest on the scene, da, da, da. Like, I remember watching Pharrell on Rap City, The Basement, and he was talking about the Clipse upcoming album. I think actually he was talking about their debut, so this is how long ago it was. And he was just like, man, you know, it's gonna be a hot summer, man. Like, we got Clipse coming, he was naming off some other random art, you know, albums that were coming out, and he was just so amped about the movement at that time. Like, it was just Star Trek everything. And not gonna lie, man, I kind of miss those days, man.
And this video is the kind of personification or pinnacle of that. This is, as you say, this is him looking dead down the camera with those chains in hand, saying, "Yep, this is us. This is what we're about. This is what we've accomplished, and ain't nobody else doing this at the moment."
Mm-hmm.
And like you say, you know, push him out. They're kind of they don't have all that bling or anything. They're kind of dressed conservatively, I guess. Even though they're in some like really good Bape and early BBC and Ice Cream numbers, there's nothing too crazy or overly flamboyant. You think of all the Bape stuff around 06 and the prior couple of years, all the different kind of camos and crazy camos that they could have put them in theory, if they really wanted to kind of rep the brand a bit more.
Yeah, and they did, again, like they said, like you're probably about to speak on it, the stuff that we do see in the video.
Yeah, and the stuff we do see isn't over the top. It's more sensible. I think, it's let the spotlight kind of shine on Pharrell for this one, and let him be the one that's kind of flamboyant.
And the chains are so outrageous that I always forget about the bracelet that he had on. That bracelet is like, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's probably like 6 rows of diamonds in that cuff, in that bangle looking bracelet. Like, I don't even want to know how much a grand total of what, because we know like the N.E.R.D pendant itself, that whole thing was what, like that was like $1 million endeavor, wasn't it?
Something ridiculous.
Something
and then
like
he's got
that.
the original N.E.R.D brain logo one from a few years before that as well. He's wearing that. It's kind of hidden at the back, but that's kind of all. I think the red part of the brain is ruby, and then the rest is kind of like yellow diamonds, and it's ridiculous.
Oh, so what Pharrell said, man, it was like, me and Ego is the general. We rocking emeralds. Like, that dude wasn't even talking about wearing diamonds. He was talking about wearing rubies and emeralds and all types of crazy stones and stuff that like people weren't even really like talking about back then.
I gotta say, when I saw him in the summer and met him, and fans will kind of know this piece of jewelry he has from the very, very early days. He has a giant canary yellow diamond ring that he always wears. He still wears it now.
It's
awesome, kind of the one piece of jewelry that's always kind of stuck with him. And you don't tend to notice it unless you're really looking for it, but it is a ridiculous rock.
Oh, you saw it in person?
Yeah, and I shook his hand, and he was wearing that, and in person, I was just like,
wow.
Whoa, that is something.
Yeah. Does he I know he'll rock his his diamond encrusted carabiner still, like that holds his keys.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it when I saw him in the summer. I have seen it every now and again over the course of last year when they were touring, but I think a lot of the time it's not the staple that it used to be, but I know every now and again you kind of see him wear it.
You know, it's crazy. We're talking about on the subject of jewelry and outrageous pieces. Actually, Push's Clipse piece.
Yes, he does have that big Clipse pendant. With the logo from the album. Yeah,
that was actually put in. I think it was Complex. Maybe did a best charms or chains in the rap game of all time, and that piece actually made it on the list as well. So you have 2 pieces from it's supposed to be a best of list in one video. So just thought that was a dope thing.
Some
Got
crazy
dope ice cream jacket that Pusha's wearing.
He's got that it's like the silver satin one, isn't it? With the running dog on the back.
Yep. And actually, this video itself, when you actually kind of sit and break it down, it was kind of like it was a dope video, especially how they went at Jive.
They went. It's only like one line in there, but you probably wouldn't really notice it or think much of it if you just listen to the audio. But when I watched the video back earlier, I was like,
dude,
oh shit, that's quite harsh because
yeah.
I can't remember. It's sorry to the fans for what.
Dude, he straight up said
the actual line
those crackers weren't playing fair at Jive.
Fair at Jive, that's it. But then, and you think, okay, as a line in a hip hop song, that's not too outlandish or too crazy. A bit strange to take shots at your label and stuff, but these things happen sometimes. But then when you watch the video and it's a couple of middle-aged white guys who are obviously music execs, and then it goes red and there's targets on their heads.
Dude, that's
and
crazy.
It's oh, okay, that's maybe pushing it a little bit far.
Well, and that's the thing, dude. You look at there's a lot of little parts in the video where it's just it brings in the street to it mixes the lavish with the street, because you got one of my favorite scenes as well, which is why this is one of my favorite videos, is you got the guy who clearly looks like a drug dealer with the bandana on his face, and he's got a shirt that says "I have too much to hide," and he's literally pulling out mounds of cash from his pockets, almost like it's a never end, it's an infinity circle of just dollar bills coming out of his, and it's just that whole thing. And he lifts up his shirt and he's got beepers and cell phones and all that, clearly a reference to the drug game and all that. But it's just there was just so much. I mean, even the girl who's dancing next to a stove, it's it's right
with the pot on top.
Yeah, I mean, it's right in your face. You don't have to look hard. And that's the thing I do like about the Clipse of this time. They did not shy away from saying, we are the drug rappers. This is what we do. We do it well. And I would say they're the best. They're the best at it. Pusha is still the best at it.
Did you see the was it Complex article from this week of the greatest rappers from each year, going back to 70, whatever it was? Mm-hmm. Pusha was number one for
I did see that
for 2018. So essentially the greatest rapper alive at the moment. And I have to say I kind of agree. And I think they got honourable mentions from sort of the early and mid 2000s as the Clipse as well in the list.
Yeah. I also saw another article. I don't recall where it was from, but Pusha, there was apparently a quote that he had given saying that his next album is going to be, he's going to be bringing the Clipse Pusha back. So whatever that means to him, I'm here for it. But whatever that means to him. He
specifically said it's the O2.
The O2, yeah.
Clipse
very specific.
Pusha, yeah.
Very, very
that's
specific.
Real. That's real early. That's real hard drug references.
Yeah.
That's real street.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I don't care what it is. Whatever Pusha he wants to bring, now Pusha, early Pusha, I'm here for it, because I've never been disappointed with any of his work. So, but yeah, this video is great. Any other things you want to point out about the video that caught your attention? Or
we've got a few nice early bits of BBC stuff here, and ice creams as well. As I said, you got kind of Pharrell in a few bits and pieces. You've got the ice cream running dog bandana.
Yeah,
I think there's a couple of different hats he's got. There's a Cones and Bones one, an early one, a Singing Cherry one. I think this may have been the first look at the running dog hoodie that he's got in yellow as well.
Oh, that's a classic piece.
There's the bucket hat, the running dog bucket hat as well.
Shout out to Luke Claus, I believe his name is. He's got that hoodie, and he's got a picture of him standing next to Pharrell in that hoodie, in a crowd of people. I love that picture. It's hilarious. But anyways,
I was never a fan. That hoodie itself, I was never actually a fan of that. But Over the last few years, it's grown on me.
Did you say the running dog bucket hat too?
Yeah, he's got the bucket hat on in a couple of shots as well.
Can never pull that off, the bucket hat. I tried. I can't do it.
I'm very much the same. I've had a couple of BBC bucket hats and other kind of bucket hats, and I can't do it.
I love the red Cones and Bones hat that Pharrell's rocking too.
Yeah.
Actually, shout out to Blitzta out in New York. He's got that hat. If I ever see him in person, I'm going to just whip out money and be like, look, I want this. Can we work something out?
He's got a few really nice pieces. There'd be a few I'd take from him.
Yeah, I noticed.
And what else?
Go ahead. My bad. Sorry.
No, I was going to say we've also got an ice cream reference in there as well as Bapesters, and then we also see. I think it's the pink lemonade. Are they called? Of the not the boutique ice creams, but the next releases, and again, I think that's one of the earlier sort of views of the new ice cream we see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. It's that whole scene when Pharrell's just in there like pouring champagne into the cereal bowl and just like kind of on his Diddy stuff where he looks like an angry CEO or someone, but just like who has money just to throw around by pouring champagne in a bowl, and just for what? Again, we've talked about, through the months of Pharrell's weird video things, like why is there a bowl of cereal? Why is there a random toy plane that he's flying around in his hand? Yeah. Like, what? Pharrell just does things because he wants to do them. Like, it doesn't. It's just it's cool. I also noticed like they play around with like color in this video too. Like there'll be random spurts of pink and yellow and blue, like when the girls are dancing and stuff like that. And the whole team. Pharrell has always just been an aesthetics guy. And I don't know. Did you mention who directed the video?
I don't know, actually. I did try and look it up earlier. There wasn't really much information on it, so I'm not 100% sure.
That's a first, ladies and gentlemen. We don't know who directed this video. Whoever did it, it kind of gives me like Hype Williams vibes.
Parts of it do, yeah. I don't think it is a hype one, but parts of it do. I think that was kind of a popular kind of aesthetic around that time, in the mid-2000s. But yeah, all in all, I think it's a great video. It tells quite a good story. Again, if we talk about the song a little bit as well as the video, you've got this other character in the video who I think is referred to in their documentation for the video as Justin Me Too. So this is the guy who's kind of dressed up trying to be like them. And
let's talk about
obviously the rumors were back then that this was a shot at, I think it was Lil Wayne at the time, wasn't it? Who was jumping on that kind of Bape bandwagon around that time or just before. Yep.
I don't know if they ever really confirmed. I mean, I believe Pharrell on their end, they never confirmed that it was in fact him. And it was kind of like, and I could be wrong, so anyone please send me a DM correcting or whatever, but I think it was kind of just like a shot, like a warning shot, like don't stop trying to copy us. Whoever you can't copy us. So like, so I'm thinking that might have been it. But I think they just never wanted to say it was Wayne, but I think like behind closed doors in a studio, they were like, let's make a song about Lil Wayne and not tell anybody it's about Lil Wayne.
Yeah, I think I've seen interviews with Push over the years, and where he's actually been asked, is this about Lil Wayne, and he gives a very kind of political answer where, well, it's not specifically about him, it's just about other people trying to, jump on the bandwagon and mimic our kind of flows and our tracks and our fashion and all this kind of thing and our content.
He didn't say no.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the telling thing. I think in a lot of interviews I've seen, he never actually says no. He just alludes that it's possibly about him and others as well in the bigger kind of hip hop community.
I also, I don't know, back to like the production too. Like, there's just some, the four count in all of most of Pharrell and Neptune's produced tracks. There's just something about the way this one hits, bro. When it starts,
you can, if you don't, most people don't notice that 4-count intro.
God,
they don't know it's a kind of Neptune's thing or a Pharrell thing or whatever. But if you play this track to anyone, they will always pick up on the intro itself.
Yeah,
just because of the sound that's used for it.
Yeah, and I love when I first heard this. Yeah, and it's like the beat was already dope. Just that boom, 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 and then like Pharrell comes into it so smooth. But then, dude, this is the power of production. You can add one simple extra sound to a beat, and it changes the swing of it. It changes the vibe, the groove. When they add those, I think it's like a tambourine or like shakers in it with eyeball loss. When I first heard that, it just changed the whole. It just gave it this extra like swag and swing to it that it was just like, again, I gush over the production because it's definitely one of my top 20, like without a doubt. I wonder who does I never really looked at like the credits or like the liner notes for this song and the album, but I even want to know like who's doing that like I'm curious like who's actually doing that.
Yeah.
Nerd stuff. Nerd stuff that only matters to people like us.
Yeah, definitely. And just kind of on that as well, I think you mentioned this earlier. The beat to me kind of harks back to like a grinding kind of sound. It's it doesn't sound like grinding, but it's simplistic, it's stripped down. Mm-hmm. There are kind of 3 or 4 kind of core elements to the beat. And to me, over the years, I've always thought, it's just like, it's the first single out. They wanted to kind of do this, grinding 2.0, let's say. Mm-hmm. But then, as I was digging around interviews and stuff earlier, here's a fact that I never realised at all. I found an interview with Pusha, and he was talking about how pretty much all of Hell Have No Fury, and I assume that includes this specific track, was actually all made for Jay-Z. All the beats were made for Jay-Z, the whole album, and the idea was that Pharrell had pitched it to Jay-Z, he had agreed to it, he was going to take all those beats and take that as an album, and obviously just put his own rhymes to it.
My God.
But then for whatever reason the deal kind of stalled, and I think in the interview I read, Push was in the studio with Pharrell and he played him some of the beats, and Push was like, you cannot be giving this to anybody else. How are you doing this? How are you not giving those beats to us? And because the deal had been stalling with Jay-Z for whatever reason, they were like, no, we're taking them. And they bought them back and they turned it into Hell Have No Fury.
That was from Push?
Yeah, that was an interview from Push that he did with...
Can you imagine Jay on like Ride Around Shining? Oh my gosh, bro. Like, that is ridiculous, man. I've never heard that.
Yeah, and it was weird. I think it was an interview with Complex he did a number of years back, and I just kind of stumbled across it earlier. But
that's nuts.
I don't think it ever got to the point where any demos or anything would have been made.
Yeah,
with Jay.
I would have them if they were out there.
Yeah, but if that had actually got there, from what I read, he'd agreed to it. So he'd obviously heard the beats, and I don't know how many tracks are on that album, 12, 13, whatever it is, but he'd actually agreed to take them all as an album.
Dang.
So he obviously had ideas in his head as to how those beats would work and what tracks would work and what he was going to do with them. So it's really interesting to kind of wonder what he could have done with them.
Right. And that would have been, ladies and gentlemen, our Neptune's produced J album, which is, there was, even in the Magna Carta, time of Jay-Z's career, there were rumblings that he was going to be doing a whole album produced entirely by Pharrell, and it's never come to fruition. But I mean, I would never have clicked on something so fast. Whenever that happens, I would have never I will have never driven to a location so fast to pick up a physical, clicked on a link so fast to listen to it. Like, I'm totally here for that. That'd be crazy. There's some cameos in the video too.
Yeah, we've got Re-Up Gang are in there. They get their name flashed up on the screen at one point as well. It's in the backdrop or something.
Yeah, yep. There's something else I didn't notice too about it. Like the so Gilly, I think Gilly the Kid is in that video as well. And I didn't even realize that he was part of the group Major Figures, which Ab Liva originated from, which I never even put those two and two together. Like,
I kind of knew loosely, but I'm not too close to stuff that they've done. But yeah, I know of them.
Ab Liva is super underrated lyricist, by the way.
Yeah,
just put that out there. But yeah, man, great track.
I was just gonna say, there's one other thing in this video that we haven't picked up on, and I noticed, and it always puzzles me. I think it's Pusha, but at one point there's a woman holding a stuffed cat.
Yeah, and he kicks it off
and
the
he
frame.
snatches it off of her and punts it off the screen. Now, I'm assuming the cat is a metaphor for pussies, and he is, kicking them, but it's just a really weird visual of him grabbing a stuffed white cat and just kicking it.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? I it's one of those things. Again, since it's like Star Trek related, it's all there's always an odd thing going on in a Star Trek related video. I feel like, and yeah, that's just again one of those things that it's like, I never even tried to figure it out. I just saw it and been like, that's cool, and just kept moving. Yeah. But yeah, it has to be a metaphor for something. And yeah, I think like you said, the pussy metaphor works perfectly, because as soon as it's in that frame, he's like looking over and he's looking at the dude who's like, trying to be all, cool and stuff and act like him, and then that's when he kicks the cat off the stage. Or off the video. But yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, why? It's just like, why?
I think this was around the time when I think Pharrell could kind of wield all the power. Yeah. And if he said he wanted something in a video, like you say, with the kind of champagne and the weird kind of toy aeroplane or jet or whatever it is, I think they're probably throwing ideas around on the set at this point. And Pusha says, wouldn't it be funny if we had a cat and he represented this, and he boots it, and and director's probably like, all right, you're paying for this, you're the boss. Yeah, right. let's put it in, and it goes into the edit and somehow comes out the final version.
And there it is. Yeah. I always did too, like another just a little. Just a weird little detail that I always kind of liked, as far as like Pharrell will show that he's involved. We all know he produced the track, but Pharrell likes to put forth that extra effort to like highlight different parts in the track, like when that happens in the video, he'll do that with his hands, and when that synth part, when that thing is coming in, he'll also do that. Like, and I always thought that was cool. Like, he did that in this video. I think he did it in like the he does it in a lot of videos. Drop It Like It's Hot. He did it in the Twista video. That Girl, Wanna Give It Up. Like that whole. Like, I just think that's cool too, because those are the parts of the song that us as fans always like gravitate towards too, and it's like cool to see that those are the parts of the songs that he like, probably likes to re-listen to and hear and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Like I think it's a good representation of him getting lost back in that music that he's kind of created. Yeah, because I think that as fans, that's what we do when we sit here and listen to these tracks. We rap along to them, or we do the drum beat, or we do those kind of movements when certain sounds come in that we know are coming, because we're fans, and those are the bits we pick up on. And I think that's also kind of what he does. He's not doing it for any particular reason other than the fact that he loves that part of the music that he's been involved in making.
Mm-hmm. Pharrell has a thing of, I'm watching the videos we're talking. Pharrell has a thing about like whispering in chicks' ears.
Yes.
He about that, bro. Like, I can name countless videos where he's doing that. Like, oh, and if anyone out there has that hat that he's wearing with the yellow running dog shirt, like the teal, light blue, I don't know. Help me out. What's that logo called again? It's like
the singing cherry.
The singing cherry. Yeah. If anyone has that hat, man, let me know, bro.
That's another nice one.
I might have to hurt my pockets for one of those. I've never seen that. I've never seen that anywhere else except on him.
I do remember it coming out. The singing cherry logo itself didn't do particularly well. It wasn't very sought after. I don't think people really knew what it was. And on that hat, I think it's the striped colour version as well, isn't it? So it doesn't even really resemble a cherry in any way.
No, it does.
Which is why it just looks like a weird circular thing screaming.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is meant to be the singing cherry, I think it's called. So
I'm sorry, that just sounded so funny. Yeah, it does just look like a weird circular thing screaming for no reason. Yeah, it's like watermelon. It almost looks like watermelon colors. Yeah, it's like the one he wore when he did the one he wore when he did the freestyle in Rhapsody in the Basement as well. The all red one. I always thought that looked dope. I never knew what it was supposed to be though.
Well, now you do.
I thought it was a donut at first when I first saw it.
So if anyone out there has it, get in touch.
Holla at your boy.
He's got money to spend.
Yeah, no, hey, whoa there. Nope. Nope. That's a lie. I'm trying to get money to spend.
Yeah, I've spent all my money since we did the last episode all of 3 months ago or whatever it may have been, maybe even 4 months ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I've spent a small fortune. Yeah. But we'll get to that in a minute. We'll do our kind of our latest pickups for the last 3 to 4 month period. I had to actually go through my Instagram earlier to start collating the list of all the things that I've spent money on.
Anything else about the video itself that you wanted to point out?
I think we've pretty much covered it. One thing No, we mentioned that. Yeah, we mentioned the kind of there's some Bape stuff in there, some Bape shirts and jackets, and Malice is randomly wearing a Lacoste polo shirt.
Yes.
I didn't notice at the start.
Why not?
They have always had like a bit of an affinity with Lacoste. I've seen them in Lacoste quite a few times, but it just struck me as slightly strange when they're in a video which is just shamelessly plugging Bape and BBC.
And it's like, skirt, let's do Lacoste.
But I guess that's Malice. I guess he wants to do his own thing sometimes, so that's fine.
Yeah.
And then Pusha's got the black BBC kind of tracksuit on, which is still very highly sought after. I know they've kind of re-released slight variants of it over the years, including, I think in Japan in the last week there's a slight variant of it. Oh no, they're velour ones, so slightly different. But yeah, that track top and the track pants with the BBC logo down the arms and down the legs is still very sought after and still sells very well if it does crop up.
I also noticed that Pharrell took a note from his Can I Have It Like That video where he did the whole arms out thing, but this time he didn't like levitate like an aircraft. Which would have been like when I went back and listened to that podcast when you're talking about Can I Have It Like That, and there is some things in that video that are kind of like what, like weird, and the CGI back then was pretty horrendous and
ropey. Again, I think it's him. He has all the power at that point. He's the big dog, and it's his money, and he's a creative person. And creative people sometimes have these slightly wacky ideas, and when they're paying the money, they get what they want. So sometimes they make it into final edits of music videos. Right.
And I don't know if I got anything else as far as the video goes. The production, I've pretty much gushed about everything I love about the production. I've always been a sucker for dope production that uses like one driving note. In that song, it's the doon doon, like whatever that note is. David, I'm sure he'll send me the exact note within scale and everything.
He'll hear that, and he will now go and get his keyboard, and he'll send us a message like playing it. Yeah, a video of him doing it.
Actually, it's a D sharp and F minor, which I'm pretty sure is not even a thing. But I love you, David. We miss you, bro. Hopefully you're doing good. Shout out to you. Early shout out. But yeah, man, like that. And then also like, that's why All About the Benjamins is one of my favorite beat, because it's just a consistent, this is a consistent note. The Special Delivery by G Dep, like, I just love beats that have one note for some reason. Just when it's done right, it gets stuck in my head. It's an earworm in my head. So yeah. Where do you want to go next?
I'm going to hark back to the days of when David wasn't quite so busy and could join me on this podcast. And I'm going to ask you to rate the video and the song. I'm going to ask you to give me an out of 10 score.
Oh. The video and the song separately, or just a combined average? The video, I'd say definitely for me, I'd say it's a 9.5. The only reason why I didn't give it a perfect score is because it's some of it didn't age well, and then I'm not really a fan of like the full green screen backdrops, like how they're standing in front of a wall of $100 bill print. Like, that's just, I don't know, it's kind of,
it's very obvious in this video at times, especially like when the Re-Up Gang logo is there, and there's a couple other points where you're just like, it's a green screen. There's
just some low budget areas in this video that kind of give it a demerit, I guess we'd say.
Those fluffy cats won't pay for themselves, my friend.
Right. So I give it about a 9.5, maybe even like a 9. As far as the song goes, bro, song's a 10. I'm sorry. Songs. No, you know what? Listen, I'm imperfect. I'm able to go back. I will give it a 9.5 because without a bridge, I'm your traditional Star Trekian, other, whatever you want to call it. I need a bridge in a song to even get it to a 10. Like, it just, all of my top Neptune related beats, a lot of them have bridges in it. So yeah, I'd give it a 9.5.
Okay. Yeah. I think if you asked me on any other day when it just kind of passed me by, I'd probably go, it's a 6 or 6 maybe.
As far as the video?
But I think kind of really thinking about it, like I say, I underrate it myself. So I think it's got to be a good 8 at least, 8.5 maybe for the song. I think for the video itself, like you say, there are bits in there that are a little bit ropey, but I like the kind of the general concept of it. I like the Pharrell just stunting on everybody in it. Right. There are some funny little bits. I'd say a 7.
And it's weird because the rating scale, a 1 to 10 rating scale is really like, it's pretty day by day, like, because what is a 10 is perfect, and you know how hard it is to really come across 10s of anything. I mean, it's just like, it's really hard. And I'm sure when I actually sit and think about it, and I use for an example, like, to me, Allure is a perfect beat in every sense of the word. Do I think that this beat is better than or even on par with Allure? When I do it that way and put like a comparative, it's like it drops it down to like a strong 8. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's what I try. The rating system here means nothing. It's just nothing. Random numbers we're making up. I do try to sort of think, right, if I put my favourite song of all time, which I don't know what it is off the top of my head, there are many. Yeah. If I could pick my favourite song of all time, which is the number 10, how would this compare to that song? Would I want to listen to this song over that song in any kind of way? Right. I guess that's kind of how I judge it. I guess my perfect 10, my my top point that I kind of compare stuff to is probably something like Frontin, I guess.
Yeah.
One of those kinds of tracks. I'm like, would I play this over Frontin? Yeah, probably not. It's not quite as good. It's a little bit below, but yeah. That's kind of how I weigh it up.
Well, looks like a call came in real quick. Hence, I lost you for 2 seconds. But yeah,
technical difficulties. It all went silent.
That is the breakdown of Mr. Me Too radio song, all that great stuff.
All right, so we've done that. We've gone on quite long on that, in fact. So
good.
Let's talk about some latest pickups. I guess I think we've both normally got something. Do you want to go first?
No. Why don't you go first?
Oh, all right. Well, yeah, we're going to be here a while. It's already late here, so yeah. So latest pickups. So I moved house a few months ago. I've been decorating. So I'm having a look around the office now, and there's no latest pickups in terms of things that are up. They're all things I've had previously, but there's the N.E.R.D snowboard and the skate deck from London, and all the pictures and albums and stuff are all framed and up on the walls. So there's all those kind of little bits and pieces. And then in terms of gear, we've got quite a lot of stuff here. So again, shout out David. He blessed me with some nice Christmas presents, which came at the end of January, but I guess it's still technically nearly Christmas. So he knew that I hadn't got the Sandal Boys BBC slides. I was trying to think of the word then, slides. And he knew I'd been trying to get hold of a pair. So he blessed me with 2 pairs. I've got the black Diamond and Dollars and the white Beeper and Butts, and I'm wearing the black Diamond and Dollars now, and they are super comfy and they are lovely. So thank you, David.
See that people? That's how you stunt. That's how you stunt. You wear stuff like that around your house. You don't even flex. He's flexing. The only thing that can see those slides are the bottom of his office desk, guys. Come on. That's how you really stunt.
So that's something that I didn't pay for. I didn't spend money on, although yeah, it was reciprocal. David got a few nice gifts as well.
Yeah.
What else did we get? I bought my girlfriend some Hughes, the Solar Glides. I was never a fan of those when they first came out.
Yeah.
The silhouette grew on me, but not to the point where I wanted to spend money on them for myself. Right. So I bought them for my girlfriend, who has no interest whatsoever in sneakers, just so I could see what they look like.
Which one did you get?
The white ones.
Okay.
And once she got them and was wearing them, I thought, they're very, very nice, in fact. So I will try and get myself a pair, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
As part of her other Christmas present, she got a pair of ice creams. I don't know who I got them from. I'm sorry. I'll maybe add it to the show notes. Somebody on Instagram managed to get me a pair of the name chain women's ice creams. So I got a pair of those. Also, the kid got a pair of tennis Hughes. The kids only all blue. They're like a bluey turquoise.
Such adult colorway.
Yeah, they're really nice. If they had them in adult sizes, I'd buy them straight away. But unfortunately, they're kids only.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got those. In terms of my Hughes, I think I've bought maybe another 5 or 6 pairs of tennis Hughes.
He's
admittedly, some were on sale and some were half price and some were 70% off. I did get a really nice European JD Sports, I think they're JD Sports exclusive, when I was in Paris over Christmas. They're like a dark grey with a dark red kind of lining and stitching to them. Okay. They're really, really nice. I think they're European exclusive only.
Oh, sweet.
So they were really nice. In terms of NMDs, I can't remember when the last podcast went out, but I picked up the BBC Heart and Mind NMDs a while back. Also the store exclusive ones, the pink and purples. And then from the last pack, I got the blue, orange and pink NMDs.
Okay.
There's a little bit I want to talk about NMDs in a minute, actually, so we'll come back to that in a sec, actually. Also, the Holy Pakistan Smiths I got the other day, they were on sale. The Solar Q glides, I got the Chinese New Year ones, just because I had started to actually quite like the Solar Q glide silhouette. And the Chinese New Year ones, all in red. The red and black, and then like the gold accents and stitching look amazing. And then the box they come in, the red like hard.
So they did such a good job on the box, man.
Really nice, and it really annoys me that they come with such a nice box, and then like normal NMDs that you pay €250 for just come in like a shitty Adidas cardboard box that you'd buy a pair of like €50 Stan Smiths in, you know? It annoys me.
Yeah. They went all out for the Chinese New Year, bro.
They did, and they did a really good job of it. And yeah, like I say, even the packaging was really, really nice. They did really well with that. So I got those. I picked up also a BBC football. I never got around to getting those footballs when they first came out for the last World Cup. I got one of those. Shout out Collect on Instagram.
Oh, you got one from the Super Bowl pack that just came out?
No, from the World Cup.
Oh, you didn't get a Bape. Oh, you didn't say Bape. You said BBC. Okay.
Yeah. No, I wasn't touching that Bape Super Bowl stuff. It's even still available here in Helsinki now. They can't shift it. A lot of it, yeah.
The boots?
But we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a sec.
I'm about to say, what the heck?
Yeah. So yeah, BBC football. I picked up what was kind of a grail for me. I think it was a Japanese release only, Starfield hoodie. Annoyingly, I'm normally like an XL. This was an XXL. So I thought that will be perfect. Even if it's been in the wash once and it shrinks down a tiny bit, it will still fit. Annoyingly, because it's a Japanese fit, it fits smaller and boxier anyway. Plus, it's been washed. So although it's an XXL, it fits like a large, basically. So it's too fucking small for me. That's very annoying.
Right.
And then I picked up two massive grails. Well, one grail I've been after for a while. One I wasn't really interested in or didn't really know much about until it came up. So,
drum roll, please.
Drum roll, please. The first one was the Season 2 pink and green striped polo shirt.
Ooh, now, talk your stuff, Steve.
I had this when it first came out. I travelled, when this first came out, there was one place in the UK you could get BBC stuff, and that was at a boutique called The Hideout, which was like 2 or 3 doors down from the Bape store in Soho in London. And on the day it came out, this was like back in the day when we only really had like the Star Trek forum to talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
So nobody was really well connected. Nobody really knew what was coming out or what was going to be available. So I knew there was some stuff dropping. I didn't know what. I got the train up to London, went to the store. It's like a 3-hour journey. I queued outside in the morning. There was no one else around, obviously. Like BBC and stuff wasn't that big at that point. This was Season 2 stuff, which came very quickly after Season 1, I have to say. So almost immediately after it first started, being released to the public. I waited around outside, got in there, saw this polo shirt, absolutely fell in love with it, fell in love with the colourway of it, bought it. Had it for years, and then, as I've mentioned on the podcast a few times before, a load of my stuff got stolen when I moved back to Australia.
We don't want to talk about that, Steve.
And this was in
that horrific moment.
I know. I don't like bringing it up, but
it has to be. Yeah,
this was amongst all of that stuff. So I never saw it again. And online, there's a couple of pictures of me wearing this polo shirt, and every time I see those pictures, my heart just aches a little bit. So I knew this one was available online. I'd seen it. I'd seen someone selling it. They'd had it listed for maybe a good 6 months or something, but it had a really, really high price, understandably. But it was in my size. So I offered a price months and months ago, maybe 6 months ago. Got turned down. I said, well, the offer always stands, And then recently I kind of spotted it again and thought, I got a bit of spare cash. I really, really want that top.
Flex.
I'm just gonna put the offer back out there. I'll put the offer back out that I offered previously. I don't want to pay the full asking price, but let's see where it goes. And we negotiated a little bit, and I got it.
Oh,
and
man,
it's
dope.
From Season 2. So this is how I don't know how many years that is. 13 years ago or something. It's dead stock. It's still in the original bag, original tags. It's never been worn. I still haven't even taken it out of the bag.
Just marveling at it.
It's still in the original bag, in the freezer, as I call it, or as Dave calls it, and I've stolen. Just my walk-in closet of all the BBC stuff. It's just in there on a shelf, just looking lovely. But I think I will need to break it out at some point soon.
It is quite lovely.
Yeah, and I've got the belt. That was number one, yeah, and I've got the belt that kind of matches it as well, which is something I did manage to keep hold of from all those years ago. So, and I've got some kicks that kind of match the colourway as well, so it'll be looking good when I break it out in the summer. Second kind of grail, I think, this wasn't a grail of my own, but I think it's just a grail in general because of what it is. Mm-hmm. This is a BBC sample polo shirt on a Bape polo shirt.
Ooh.
So this was before even Season 0. Season 0 stuff wasn't, if I remember correctly, I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, but even the Season 0 stuff wasn't on Bape labelled items, t-shirts or polos, but this is a sample from just before that. So it's a Bape polo shirt with the Bape tags, but it has the Moon Man stitched into it and some BBC labelling as well. And I got this from, who did I get it from? Momo Ape on Instagram out in Germany. I think most people that follow me will probably follow him as well if you're a BBC fan.
If you don't follow him,
he was moving a few bits and pieces. This is one that he had, went in with an offer, and we came to a deal. And this is an item that I think, as someone that collects BBC, that's someone that loves the brand and has done for many, many years, I, even though it's in my size, I don't think I'll end up wearing it. This could almost be one that I'm thinking about may go into a frame and go on the wall, just because it is that, like I say, it's not even a Season 0 that we all kind of know and love.
What color is it?
It's a sample of even before that.
What color is it?
It's black.
Of course, perfect. The best polo color.
Exactly, yeah. It's black with the kind of white embroidery, and then it's got the little bit where the buttons are, the little fold-over bit, which is white inside there.
You got to send me some pictures of that, bro. I want to see that.
I will. It's on its way at the moment. I think it's in Denmark or something at the moment. It got shipped on Friday, so I should have it in the coming days. But yeah, that's one where it really is like part of the history of BBC.
Yeah.
So I may end up, I don't know, framing it's maybe going a bit too far, but I know there's some things with it.
It's never too far, Steve. It's never too far.
No. If you looked around my office now and saw all the stuff that I have framed up on the walls, then yeah, you'd be like, meh, polo shirt's nothing compared to that.
Never too far.
And I think that was the end of my list.
Well, you know what, man? I would think you're in bodybuilding, the amount of flexing you just did. That was my corny joke of the day. But yeah, I after 9 minutes and 5 seconds of hearing Steve flex, my flex isn't nearly as hard, but a few pickups that I've gotten since the last time I was on the Otherz podcast. I was able to get the Star Trek stuff that had come out through BBC. I was able to get the black hoodie.
We're going to rant about BBC in a minute as well.
Yeah, the black hoodie, the black Star Trek hoodie. I was able to get that. I was also able to get the... It was funny. It was supposed to be a ComplexCon exclusive T-shirt, but of course, you know how that goes. Ended up dropping on BBC. I was able to get my the ape. I want to call it the hand on the back, with the hand on the back, Star Trek. Yeah. I forgot the name of the actual. There's an actual name for that logo, and I forgot it, but. I was able to get that. I've always wanted that shirt. I've always wanted a shirt with that hand on it. Ever since I saw it in the Let's Get Blown video, I was just like, I need that. So I was able to get that. I was able to get my hands on the inspiration pack. I think it's the inspiration pack. The sky blue pair.
Yep.
Think that was like the dopest colorway out of that whole rollout for me.
They're nice. I got the dark blue and pink ones are the ones I was referring to.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, those are hard. Those actually are harder in person because some of the pictures don't do it justice. You gotta be looking at it with like contrast right. Everything has to be looking right in order for those to like work for me. But got able to get a pair of those. I was able to get my pair on the Complex Con exclusive NMDs. The blue, red, and white pair. Those actually work perfect for me because being from Detroit, Red Wings apparel is big out here, as well as Pistons apparel, which is those exact colors of the NMD. So I've been able to rock some. I went and found some cool vintage like Pistons hoodies to rock with those. So let me see what's going on in the closet here. I think since the last one I was on here, those might be my pickups. So, I don't know. Was I able to get I don't know. It's been so long. I don't even know how long it's been, but whatever. I'm now missing I just need the black pair of N.E.R.Ds and the homecoming pair. When I get those, I'll have all the N.E.R.D NMDs.
Jealous. Some good pickups there. And those N.E.R.D NMDs. Oof.
They're hard.
Yeah, I could get hold of a green pair right now in my size. I've been toying with the idea, but
those sticker prices,
we'll see.
Boy.
Yeah, they're a really, really high price. So yeah, I need to have a serious think about that. I think if I did that with the amount of trips and holidays and weddings and things we have planned to go to this year, I'd be in big trouble with the significant other in my life. So yeah.
So the BBC, you said you wanted to talk a little bit about. You wanted to mention something.
So I had one topic about Hugh stuff, which we can talk about quickly, but also you just reminded me of the BBC stuff because I was actually going to cop those Star Trek things as well, but I was going to do it in conjunction with another item I wanted from BBC, and that was, and again, there's loads of recent BBC releases we could talk about, but we'll just mention this one quickly because it was a shit show. Sorry to anyone from BBC that happens to listen to this. I know some people do, but I'll say it publicly on here as well. So the recent release they did of the astronaut figurine that they released in store in New York and Miami, and they did online as well, supposedly online. Now, I was desperate for one of these. This is like their first real kind of BBC collectible item. It was limited to, I think there were 150. Again, someone correct me if I'm wrong. And random ones, I don't know how many. I think it may have been 10% were signed by Pharrell, which was a very strange thing to see Pharrell kind of endorsing BBC products in that way again. Because we haven't really seen much of that over the last few years, but he obviously was, and I thought, okay, there's going to be some available online. This is a collectible item. I knew what the price was. I thought, I don't think there'll be a huge amount of people involved in trying to go for this. And I think if I'm online, if I'm prepared, the minute it's meant to go live, I hit the button. I should be able to get one. It shouldn't be a problem too much. And then just before they went live at whatever time it was, I think it was like midday in New York, so maybe 7 p.m. here or something. I saw a couple of pictures from people at the BBC store, and there were queues outside of people. And at that point, I started to worry slightly. Because I thought, there's a lot of people queuing here for an item, and none of them were wearing BBC things. If you're going in for a real BBC collectible item, I expect you, if you're a real fan, I expect you to kind of be wearing the odd BBC thing, but nobody really was. So I was like, looks like there's a lot of flippers in that queue, and it doesn't look great. But I thought, I'm online, it's fine. I'm in the comfort of my own house. I'll sit here. I've got 3 tabs open with the homepage of the BBC website, the collectible section, because they were calling it a collectible, and then one other page, I can't remember what it was, accessories or something maybe, because I thought, they might put it in that category. And I'm sat there refreshing all of them, and the time comes, I hit refresh, nothing. Keep hitting refresh on all the tabs, nothing. Gets to maybe 5 or 10 minutes past when they were released, and I'm like, they're not on the website. There's none on here. Like, have they screwed up? Because I know that's happened in the past on their website where stuff has been limited and is meant to have gone live at a certain time, and then it turns up 20 minutes later. Maybe not necessarily their fault. Sometimes technical issues happen. Sometimes when you're in different countries, stuff takes time to propagate across different CDNs that deliver you the information. So I was like, oh, shit, maybe something's happened. But then at that point, I was like, well, I've probably lost out here, so I'm not going to bother. So I'm going to just click around the website, and I might try and pick up a couple of these Star Trek tops that were still available. There was a T-shirt and a hoodie, I think, that I was going to grab, and then maybe a jacket. And as I went on to some other page, I went on to the all products page. So I had the home page open, the collectibles page open, the accessories page open. It didn't appear on any of those. But I went to the all products page for some reason, just to kind of browse through everything that was there. And lo and behold, there was the astronaut. And I thought, ta-da. Shit, it was on this one page. For some weird reason, they didn't put it on the home page, and on the collectible page, and on the accessory page, but it's on the all products page. Why the hell is it randomly here? Okay, I'll click on it quickly. I'll see if I can get one. Nope, sold out. Unsurprisingly. So that annoyed me quite a lot. And people that follow me will have seen that I posted about it, because it's a really shitty way to release a product, especially one that's collectible and that, kind of real fans want to try and get hold of.
Right.
And then what I did, just to, amp myself up a little bit more and further annoy myself, is I thought, okay, I think a lot of these are going to get flipped. And it was you only technically allowed to buy one per person as well in store. So I went on eBay to see if any were available and what the prices might be. And yes, I think out of 150 that were released to the public, I think most of them were listed on eBay within 30 bloody minutes.
Yep.
Including multiple ones from the same users. So this means that people were potentially able to buy more than one when they weren't meant to. Or most of the people in that queue were queuing up for other people to, cop them and then flip them immediately on eBay.
Right.
Which infuriates me.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm, a fan and really after a product and want to pay the money for it, and I'm happy to pay the quite a lot of money for it. But I think the item was selling for about $300 US, I think it was, which I was going to pay. The ones being flipped on eBay immediately were at about 500, 600, and then I think one signed one cropped up for 800, and it just pissed me off no end. And I did kind of complain to a few people about it, and quite publicly. Now I know I think there are some more collectible items coming up in the future at some point. I don't know what they are or when they will be, but this is kind of put me off trying to get them now, because that's that first item. If I'm going to start getting these collectible things, I'd like to have the whole set.
Right.
I missed out on the first one. So now I'm like, well, it was such a shit show that I don't really know if I want to invest my time and my money trying to get hold of these things in the future. And that's my little BBC rant that's been annoying me and bugging me for the last couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, I totally see what you're talking about, especially when it comes to, this particular product. It's just like, this kind of goes back to, the popularity of human races, the popularity of just things that are N.E.R.D. /Pharrell related now. Nothing is safe. I mean, everything is pretty much, if people see that if the word limited is attached to anything, people are going to do whatever they need to do to acquire it. And, that's the way the world is now, man. It's a reseller's market. And it's not really a collector's market anymore these days. And unfortunately, to get some of the things that the things that you want, you kind of have to be just as conniving and cutthroat as the people who are doing said thing. Like, you have to kind of go, you know, under the radar to get some of the things that you really, really want these days. It's not like it used to be when you could just go, like you said, you went to go line up at a store, pay your hard-earned money for it, take it home and enjoy it. Like, those days are kind of over. There was actually a shoe that I wanted to get recently, and I did. I woke up a little extra early. I went to the store that I knew was going to have said shoe, and the gate was shut, like on the store. But I saw some movement going on in there, and I saw a few men pick up bags plural, of said shoe and walk right out the door. And then I was like, hey, I'm looking for a shoe. And it goes, oh, it's sold out. And I'm like, okay, well, very interesting. So those days have kind of, you know, it's kind of like when it comes to certain things, if you can't beat them, join them. And I don't mean in reference to like possibly reselling the item, but if you want that item, you gotta jug and finesse your way just like those people are doing. The only difference is you actually appreciate the product. They don't appreciate the product.
And that's kind of the annoying thing. I know there's always going to be people that buy stuff to kind of resell it and things like that, and I understand that that's kind of the way this whole kind of hype sort of thing works of the last few years and at the moment. And I understand that. It's just, it's frustrating that it was, you know, I could have got one online had I known, had it been implemented properly or done in a kind of more logical way. I think that's what annoys me almost
for sure.
more than anything, just the kind of the poor implementation of putting it on sale online. Because, you know, I'd been there for like half an hour before prepping myself ready, and it's on some random page you wouldn't expect it to be on, and it's just... Yeah, it was just a general annoyance. And then, like I say, you then obviously see them all on eBay for extortionate prices afterwards. It kind of tarnished my love for the brand for a little while.
Oh, I hear you. I can see that.
Yeah, and then but then I took the money, went and spent it on other BBC stuff. So that's the kind of sucker I am.
That's just what it is. But no, you know, and of course, if anyone out there follows Steve, you know, real ones are looking out for real ones. You know, people who are really about it. You know,
and that's the thing as well. Like, I have to say, I had a few messages after from different people who were like, "Dude, I'm in New York. You could have hit me up. I would have gone down to the store for you." So, like, shout out to those people who, like, I don't even know in real life. I know them via like Instagram and via this podcast. Yeah, and they would, you know, and they're willing to go out of their way to go into the city to jump in a queue for me to, you know, pull favors for me and stuff. So, shout out to those people. But and I don't like kind of, I was going to say calling in those favors. I'm not calling in any favors, but I don't like asking for those favors of people.
Me neither.
Because it is people having to go out of their way, and I feel bad, and I then want to kind of do something for them. And it turns into this like sort of endless thing, and I sort of worry, like, have I done enough for them? Should I do something else? And, but I think it sometimes it kind of gets to a point where maybe I need to just say to somebody, if you're in town, can you get down there and just get that for me, and I'll give you a fee, or I'll send you something, or, you know. And then there is always, God bless him, Dave, that's out there in New York as well, who goes out of his way to try and fix these things for me. Even when he heard about this, he tried to contact a few people to see if there was anything that could be done, but unfortunately by that time all the astronauts had sailed out of the BBC door.
Well, you say it so melodramatically, man. It's you're making it even sadder than it actually is.
God damn it! I didn't get to spend my $300.
Right, all of the astronauts are in space now, just floating in nowhere land and completely unattainable. But I totally feel your pain on that type of thing, man. And again, though, I had to kind of get over the hurdle of, you know, being afraid to ask people, specifically people who have actually told me, like, hey, if you need something, let me know. I got you. Like, I mean, not to get off topic here, you know, but it's just like, even growing up, like if I needed money as a kid, I didn't want to ask my parents for it. There were days I'd go to school and I wouldn't even eat because I didn't want to ask my parents for lunch money. I wanted to get my own, So I definitely, understand. But once you realize that, it's a mutual. There's more happiness in giving than there's receiving, and the people that are willing to do those things for you, they find that happiness in giving. So there's a way to do it. There's obviously an art form to connecting with people and acquiring items, and as long as they feel that love there, they realize that it's a mutual friendship, and there's just a way to do it. Some people don't know how to do it, and they come off annoying and like a user or a grub, whatever. But when you do it, when you do it right and you actually formulate relationships, it's nothing, man. People love doing things for other people, man.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'll be using some of those lovely people at some point in the future.
Pull the trigger.
And I have to say, like, I've ranted and raved about this, but as soon as I hit the stop and save button after we finish recording, I'm going to be on eBay looking at those fucking notes again.
Right. That's just what it is, bro. You've been bitten with the bug that many of us have been bitten with, and there's just no cure for it, unfortunately. But that kind of leads into a perfect way to close it out. Do you have any shout-outs that you want to give to anyone out there in IG land and or any other social media platform?
I had a list. I had numerous people I said I would give shout-outs to for one reason or another, and then I forgot to write them down, and they're all buried in my phone somewhere. So, no, not really. Oh yeah, we had a Q topic to talk about, but I think I'll push that to next time, or maybe when you're on next, because it doesn't need to be right now, and we've gone quite long already. But no, just the usuals. All of those that follow us on Instagram. Again, I can't think of specific names at the moment. Collect, I've dealt with a few times recently. KOLLEKT, I think, and there's an underscore in there somewhere, maybe at the end. He resells Bape and BBC and stuff like that. You have to deal with him. He's a really good guy in I want to say like Seattle or somewhere like that. So shout out to him. I've got a few bits off him recently. Anyone else I've bought stuff off of recently and I can't remember your name, shout out to you. Shout out to all those that said they would help with acquiring certain things in the past and in the future. Yeah. And to King of Creams himself, who might be in California at the moment. I never quite know of his weird cryptic messages in the middle of the night. But yeah, shout out to him for the great Christmas presents, and hopefully I tell you what, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to do this publicly. We are trying to work on a project. We're trying to work on a project in person. That means I need Mr. King of Creams, David, here in Finland at some point this year. Now, trying to get time in his busy schedule. Anyone that knows him will know that's nigh on impossible to do.
Yes.
So, if you want to see or hear, you will see. If you want to see a project from us involving myself and himself, then do make sure you message him and tell him to find some dates and book some flights and come to Finland, because we've got a really great project which we can, potentially in the works, which will be great for all of us in the community and could lead to bigger and better things for the podcast. So if you know Dave at King of Creams, do go and harass him. Do send him a message and tell him to book his flights to Finland ASAP.
ASAP. Just send him a message. Just send him a DM saying Finland. And then
yes, Finland flights. Just Finland flights. If you just send him Finland, he won't know what's going on. Bless him. But just say Finland flights to him, and he'll get it eventually.
Right. I have a few shout-outs that I want to give for various reasons. One, and this might come as a no-brainer, but shout out to you, Steve, for hitting me up. I got the random message a couple days ago, in his exact words, "Do you fancy Mr. Me Too?" And I replied with an emphatic yes, because why not? It's one of my favorite songs. So thank you for hitting me up again in order to do the podcast. I want to give another shout out to Adam J. Romo. His take on the black hues that just came out. He decided to screen print some 3M diamonds and dollars on them, and they look amazing.
If you don't know Adam, get on Instagram, adam.j.romo, R-O-M-O. He does some really great designs. I'm not wearing it now. I was wearing one of his hoodies earlier today when I went out for dinner. Yeah. He does some great designs. He does like all these his own custom N.E.R.D designs. He does like the T-shirts with they're not Swarovski crystals, but they're like the rhinestones. Yeah. And he does like these like little custom made shoes for himself. And I even messaged him about these ones and said
so
how cool
awesome.
They look.
Yeah. So shout out to him. I also want to give a shout out to Goat Grails and OG Vault. They recently did a legit check for me. On a Bape Letterman that I was in question on whether or not it was Fugazi or not, and ended up being such. So shout out to them. They responded promptly and educated me a little bit more on what to look for when you're trying to spot out a fake. So if you ever have anything in question as far as whether or not it's real, those two guys have your back.
They know their
110%. Yes. Also want to give a shout out to Raheem Miles Raps. And hopefully I'm not saying the name wrong. I know how to. I see it all the time, but I never actually say it. But I want to give a shout out to him. I'll spell it out real quick. RAKEEMMILESRAPS. That dude, just rewind it. You guys have the power to rewind. But that dude is making major waves right now as far as his music career is going. He's also definitely, I would consider him and other very heavily influenced by people like Pharrell, Tyler the Creator, so on and so forth. He was recently on Adult Swim, which is a big deal, major syndicated channel, and he's been making some pretty dope music, so please check him out. And I want to give a shout out, but it's a weird shout out to Kaylin Marie. I think her name is Skateboard Girl or Skate Girl, I want to say. Do you know
Skateboard
Steve?
K?
Yeah, Skateboard K. I am just going to publicly say that I hate her because she has so many pairs of the
like when she puts those posts, when she posts those. I think back to being in Dave's house last year when he has even more and he has them all boxed. I just want to say to David, her, anyone else who has multiple pairs of those, I hate you. I will always hate you. And that is a grail of mine. And to just see multiples of them just throughout a house like it's nothing. Yeah, you guys are the ultimate flexers. So continue on. And one last but not least, shout out to Vanessa Marquez, which some of you guys might know from the Clones, this track Good Girl, and various other tracks that she did with Pharrell, a lot of unreleased tracks. But she just followed your boy on Instagram, and I was able to, without getting in detail of the DMs, it was nice to actually talk to her. I'm actually going to try and get some questions answered in regards to early Star Trek days and see if she's willing to talk about it. Her page now is private, and it doesn't have anything related to any Star Trek work or anything like that. She's very, I guess you could say, normal now, living a normal life, but it's just cool to see that she's still out here healthy and happy, and whether she believes it or not, I am a fan, and I'll always be a fan because she's part of the Star Trek family. So shout out to her. If you can find her page, then good for you. I'm not going to put it out there, but if you can find it, go ahead and find it. So that is it for my shout outs. Good stuff. If I know there are shout outs that I've missed and I've forgotten, if I said I'd give you a shout out, if I said I'd try and plug something for you or whatever it may be, and I haven't, then do drop me a DM at Steve R. Penny on Instagram or at Otherz Podcast. Or you can send an email to the fancy new email address, which is hi, H-I, at theothers.net.
There it is. It's official.
Yeah, we're no longer doing a shady Gmail account. We have a proper grown-up email account.
That's right. And it's okay to me that we went over like almost a half an hour because we haven't done it in a while. So it feels good to be back, and I'm looking forward to the next episode, whenever and whatever that might be. And I appreciate you for having me on, Steve. And you can follow me at StarTrakWorld on Instagram.
Good stuff. A pleasure as always. I will hopefully not make it 3 or 4 months until the next podcast. Hopefully the next one will be maybe in a week or two if I can get my shit together. And we'll go from there, and we'll try and do some big things in 2019.
Absolutely.
But for now, we will leave it there. You can, as I say, find us at Otherz Podcast. Myself at Steve R. Penny. You can drop us a DM or an email or whatever. And you can check out all the other episodes and stuff like that on the website, which is theothers.net. But that's it for now. So thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you soon, everyone. Bye-bye.
Cue the outro music.